Welcome to the Ostomy Body Positive Confidence Chronicles, where we highlight inspiring ostomy journeys through education, relatable stories, and expert insights. We also feature companies, products, and professionals improving ostomy care. Please like, share, subscribe, and or join our movement. The Facebook group link is in the description below. Freestyle. And then you also know that it takes a minute here for this to get live, and that while we're trying to figure out if we're live or not, we do a dance.
Oh,
Yeah. You just dance to the music in your head. It doesn't have to be, oh yeah, there you go. Hey, better. This is the best dance we've ever had. You have a better dance than I do. Well, you got it. Hey, you know what? Just so you know, we are live, so they can see your dance.
oh, great.
But you did great. I love it. Let me let me set this down. All right, cool. Well, hey, and I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good because Scott said we're good. He gave me the thumbs up. Um,
I'm surprised with my dancing. I'm surprised he gave you the thumbs up.
Yeah, I don't know if he gave you the thumbs up on the dancing or the fact that you could hear us, but either, hey, in your mind, we can say it was your dancing. I'm gonna go with that. um, I like in my phone, I have you saved as Pastor Anthony. So
Yeah,
can I just call you Pastor Anthony?
you can, but I mean, we're friends. I mean, you can call me
I know,
Anthony,
but I like it. I kind of like it. I kind of like it, Pastor
Okay.
Anthony.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fine.
we got Anthony here, and AKA Pastor Anthony. Just because
Or,
you know, when we did your interview, you were dressed. You had your fit on.
I, yeah, I was having a day. Yeah, yeah.
It was good. I like it. I mean, we need some everything besides ostomies here. We need someone of every caliber of life. So, and he's professional at Ostomy Body Positive group. Anthony has a microphone. He's a pro. He's a pro.
Right there.
Okay, so now Anthony says, move your mic. I mean, Scott said, move your mic closer.
Closer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up closer. Is that better?
Okay, is that better, Scott? Can you hear him better? See what he says. Oh, he hasn't responded, but I'm pretty sure we can hear you because
Okay.
that sounds better to me even over
It
here.
sounds better to you? Okay,
It does,
good.
yeah. But I mean,
Good.
it's
Okay.
it's it was good, but yeah. Anyways, all right. So we're going to talk about the conference, the UO. Yep, he said better. We're going to
Okay.
talk about
Good.
the UOAA conference. You attended. There was quite a few other people from Body Positive who kind of posted.
Yeah.
Demi, she was there. There was a few others there, and yeah, let's talk about it. What would you like? I want to hear what your experience was because I know you've been before, right?
I have not actually.
Oh,
So that's yeah, this is a whole thing. So first of all, I need to apologize because I really wanted to be the ostomy body positive roving reporter, and this was my first conference, and I was so caught up
yes.
in the moment that I lost all sense of
That's okay.
the outside.
But that's like, I'm that way in life as well. Like, like if I'm somewhere, I'm not going to be just on my phone when I'm in the
Yeah.
moment. And I would never expect you to be. And so I thank you for the offer, but I totally get that as
I
you
think
could have been there.
Well, thank you. I think that next year or 2 years from now, when this happens, I think we do it and we get a sponsorship deal. So you and I are making a little money, and then yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, so my I think that we had talked about this the last time that we spoke, and if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry for everyone. But so when I had my surgery, I am so old that when I had my surgery, there was no internet, no social media.
Mhm.
And aside from my family and a few close friends, nobody knew that I
Yeah.
had had my surgery. Some people had heard that I was sick, but they didn't know what from.
Sure.
And so I started going to an ostomy support group, and it was me and a whole bunch of senior citizens. And I was like, oh, this is not going to work for me. And after about a year or so, I dropped out, and I felt so isolated, so alone, and I just kind of basically hid my ostomy for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And when during COVID, I was in touch with Tina Amprakash, who I'm sure you have come across in social media. She does the South Asian IBD,
Okay.
Own Your Crohn's, all that kind
Okay.
of stuff. She's got a master's in, I want to say, in public health. But she and I had connected on social
Okay.
media, and she asked me to do an interview for her blog because I had had COVID, recovered, and I had an ostomy, and she wanted to talk about what that was like.
Mm,
So that was like a big sort of coming out for me.
sure.
Um, and I wound up serving on the UOAA board shortly after that, and I served for 2 years. So all this stuff happened during COVID. So my entire sort of majority of my life with my ostomy, I didn't tell anyone about it.
Hmm.
And then I went to serving on the board, but it was during COVID.
Yeah.
And so this was my first opportunity
Wow.
to be at a conference,
Yeah.
which was very surprising to people because when I talked with them, they were like, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute, you did this and you did this and you've had it for how long?"
Yeah.
Um, which I've had my ostomy now for almost 36 years.
Wow.
So yeah, like people were really surprised that
Yeah.
this was my first time. So this was my first time, and I was there, and I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, look what is going on here, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
think everybody is, I think everybody is when they go there. It's just like, wow, I found my people, you know?
you just said the sentence of the conference, I think.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing was that had the biggest impact on me
Yeah.
more than anything else. That was it. To sit, like at the pool
Yeah.
and have a parade of people walking past me, bag out, bag in,
Right.
whatever, taking over the pool. Um,
I
one
love
of
that.
one of the ladies that creates ostomy covers created um, matching pool noodles.
Oh,
So so people had the covers and the pool noodles
that's
that were
so
matching,
cool.
and
Oh, man.
they were doing photo shoots and it was just
That's
insane that
awesome.
all of a sudden I was surrounded by my people and I didn't even know that I had people,
I love
you
that.
know?
That's so cool. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm so
So
glad you went. That is so cool.
there were over 400 estimates. The conference itself had roughly 600 people there. So there were 400 plus estimates, and then there were caregivers,
Yeah.
vendors, speakers, WOCNs,
Yeah.
all sort of that other group of people. So huge number of people. They kept saying that this was the biggest one that they've had in years and years and years.
Yeah.
And
Probably since COVID for sure.
from
Even
yeah,
before
yeah,
that. Yeah.
even before
Okay.
that. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what was like a highlight that you could mention, something that maybe you didn't expect to see or that, people would like to hear because I feel like not enough people even one know about UOAA or two know that there's this conference and like yes,
Yeah.
we talk about it here, but like this isn't a UOAA sponsored, Facebook page. This is just,
Yep.
Ostomy Facebook page. So the more people who listen and understand like that this platform exists can understand like, hey, we have this conference every 2 years and it's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the thing that was surprising to me was, well, there were two things. So the first one was the last night of the conference, we had a Mad Hatter's Ball.
Yeah.
And I was kind of seated sort of in the middle of the room, and I happened to turn and look behind me, and there was a group um, that had was at one of the exhibitor booths
Mhm.
during those times in the exhibitor hall,
Yeah.
and it was a group of four women, and it was that girl with a bag was the vendor, and April is the person, and we our eyes met, and I went over. And like immediately we launched into our stories,
Oh,
right?
so cool.
And she was talking about, how she was actually serving in the military when she had gotten sick, and what that did to her life. And then I was sharing, my story and telling you much the same thing that I said at the
Yeah.
beginning. And um I got a little choked up when I was talking to her, because it was so crazy to me that I was in a room full of people
Mhm.
who had similar experiences, and and everybody understood what I was talking about when I
Yeah.
was talking,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that was one thing. And then uh my wife Edna and I stayed a couple of extra days because we just really needed we really needed a vacation.
A break
And
from life.
a break from life. And so we stayed a couple of days past the conference, and we were in the hotel lobby, and ran into a couple of the younger sort of ostomates. And younger for me now is like people in their 20s and 30s and
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and so we wound up having this really great conversation with them, not only talking about the conference and ways that we could make it better, but like some of our shared experiences. And for each one of us, there were obviously things that were unique to us, but
Mhm.
then there were things that were very, very similar.
Yeah.
Getting sick, food issues,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things that a lot of people probably take for granted. But for us, we're very sensitive to these things,
Yeah.
but we don't really have people to talk to about it
Right.
unless we're communicating with another ostomate. So, um, just randomly running into them in the lobby, and we wound up spending like 4 or 5 hours, uh,
Wow.
having a conversation with them about like a wide range
Yeah.
of, things, including like where we can get help when we're running low on our supplies and our insurance isn't working right, and like
Mhm.
what do we do and all that stuff. So yeah, those were two things that were really just very impactful for me.
That's awesome. So it's like really essentially it's like a community thing. So it's like yeah, we can be online on Zoom and meet each other this way, but then that personal connection of meeting in person and actually giving someone a hug or shaking their hand or going to have a meal or a snack or having those conversations in person is kind of also important because we still need human connection. So,
We absolutely do. And it was funny because typically I'm good with faces and not so good with names.
mhm.
Um, but there were people who I connected with on social media who I didn't know were in the room,
Yeah.
and like I'm looking at them and I'm going, that person looks vaguely familiar. How do I know that? And then you start looking on social media. You're like, where do I
Yeah.
know that person from,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that human connection was just incredibly moving for me. And I would even say that it was healing
Yeah.
just to be able to talk to people. And there was for the most part, there was a lightheartedness that was in those rooms. You
Mhm.
know, people were happy to be around each other. There were a lot of, photo opportunities that were
Yeah.
happening, and people were, posing and doing all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. And um, we during the exhibitor time, I went over to the folks at Coloplast.
Hmm.
And a couple of years ago, my WOCN had switched me over to Coloplast because I was having a bad skin problem.
Hmm.
And I went over to talk with them, and first of all, they couldn't have been nicer. But second of all, they had, ostomates at the booth that
Hmm.
were working for them.
Nice.
So, and I know that my buddy Nate was working at the Hollister booth. So I imagine that all three of the big
Yeah.
three had that. But it was an additionally like moving experience to be talking with people who work for the company,
Hmm.
who's manufacturing the stuff that keeps
Yeah.
me healthy, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, oh well, I have one
Yeah.
too, and I
Yeah.
use this, and all those kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
Um, there were small vendors that were there, like businesses that are trying to get off the ground
Hmm.
that I had never heard of before.
Yep.
And they were giving out
Yep.
samples, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, please give this a try." What was also interesting to me was that a couple of them gave me their contact information and said, "Would you please reach out to us after you use our product and tell us what you think?"
Nice.
Yeah, like so, not just trying to sell me, but
Yeah.
trying to find out what's your experience with this,
Right.
and what can we do? How can we improve it, or
Yeah.
what. So yeah,
Love that.
yeah, such a great thing.
Yeah. And if you have any of those I that you like, throw it our way so we can get them on here to, you know?
Yeah, I mean the one that's well, there's two that stick out in my mind right now. So one is Revel,
Oh, okay.
Revel, and that's a company that makes a um it's a lubricant. So I believe the company originated because it's the type of stuff that they use in toothpaste tubes to
Hmm.
help get the toothpaste out of the tube.
Oh, okay.
But they've taken that, whatever that stuff is,
Mhm.
and they've added some sense to it, and they're trying to now market it to ostomates as a not only a lubricant to prevent pancaking, but then also a deodorant to help improve to help eliminate smells.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other one was t 10 Aces.
Oh yeah, we've had them on. That's Brock and his wife. I forget what
Yes.
Brock's wife is. I feel bad, but she's
Um,
beautiful. I love her. She's
I
Brock and his wife. We've had them on, and they're actually part of Ostomy Body Positive group.
that oh, that's great. I'm glad I'm plugging them now. So
Yes.
maybe I'll get a royalty, or I'll get a something. Um, I can't think. I want to say her first name is Andrea. I don't know
Sounds, yes, I think that is
if
right.
that's right.
I've had, yes, I've
Um,
interviewed them. It's her company. That's right.
they were fantastic, and it was funny to me because, and I don't really like I don't really use a lot, or I don't experiment with products, and
Yep.
so I had a long conversation with them, like kind of like getting to know them, and then they were like, "Do you want to see what we have?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, let's." I'm
Sure.
sorry, yeah, you're here for a reason. And so they showed me their adhesive spray, and they, talking me through it and everything. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. Do I really want to do this? I guess I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
So, Tuesday, yeah, it was Tuesday. I did an appliance change because I was heading to the airport and going to be on two different planes and all this other stuff. So let me put something fresh on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I tried it out. I did follow the instructions that they told me. I did the thing. So today should have been the day that I change my appliance. Well, we're now towards the end of
Mhm.
day two, and I'm looking now. I use an appliance that has the extenders around
Okay.
it,
Yep.
so you can kind of
Yep.
see the skin.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you could see when
It's
there's a
coming
leak that
up.
starts to develop.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing.
Ooh, okay. Well, shout out to 10 Aces. We've
So
got an actual customer
like
using
this
product.
is I am so if I normally get, I know this is going to be very nerdy of me, but if I normally get like 2 days wear out of my appliance,
Yeah.
and now because of their spray I can get 3 days or 4 days, that's a game changer for my skin
It's for your skin and for your wallet if you're paying for any part of your supplies.
and for my wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's probably a lot of people who do have to who are listening. So that's good. That's great information. That's great.
yeah. So far I'm going to get in touch with Brock, and I think it's Andrea, after so when I eventually do my next appliance change, whatever that is. I'm going to try
Yeah.
to let this go as long as I can
Yeah.
and see
Test
what
it
happens.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and test it out.
I love that. Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what else? What were there any speakers that you saw? Any good? Did you go to some of the breakout sessions? I went 2 years ago, but I was also an exhibitor, so I had to like do my exhibit and then try to get to as many breakout sessions. So
Right.
like I was so upset that I couldn't go this year, but like with my health and my accident, you know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I just it's too bad because I was just gonna go as a spectator, as a
Right.
a member, um,
Right.
which in 2 years we'll be able to redo. But was there any like any speakers that stood out, or did you get to do those? Did you get to go?
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
there was a great one, a guy named Anthony who talked about fundraising. I'm sorry,
Oh,
that's me.
Anthony? What-
Sorry.
Are we talking about pastory? Are you
That
talking
was so ridiculous. Oh, Pastor Anthony was talking about.
about?
And I had a lot of fun doing it. I gave a talk on fundraising for ASGs,
Oh, you did?
affiliate
Okay.
support groups.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
so that
see
was that
that.
was a lot of fun. But yeah, the gentleman who and I'm completely blanking on his last name. His first name is Ted, and I can't think of his last name. He was the keynote speaker um, on the for the opening ceremony.
Okay.
He talked about being in his younger years, he was a like a sound engineer for bands. Excuse me. And then he got very good at his profession and wound up touring with all these bands
Hmm.
and then setting up sound systems for like stadiums and things. And how he, like many of us, like started off kind of his career, got sick, had to have surgery, went back to his career, and somehow
Yep,
managed to, I mean, that's a very active lifestyle, to be on the road
for
and to
sure.
very physical, um, so that was really inspiring. And then during I want to say the closing ceremony, we had like the youngest and the oldest Ostomates in the room, were recognized. I did go to the session that was for travelers.
Okay.
So the TSA, the head TSA guy for the Orlando airport.
George, is it George? No, not
So
George.
George Salome is our
Liaison.
TSA liaison,
Okay.
right? He's on our side of things. The guy, I want to say his last name is Jordan, and he's the head of TSA for the Orlando airport.
Okay.
So he was there along with one of his top officers, and they came and not only gave a presentation, but then they did an example of a pat down and what that's supposed to look like,
Okay.
and then they opened it up for questions and answers, and it was really great because some people have had very frustrating experiences with trying to
Sure.
get through airport security, and and he was very cool and collected. He answered the questions, and it was really just extremely informative because people now get to see what's on the other side. Like, what are they seeing when we come through,
Yeah.
and what's their concern?
Sure. Well,
Like
yeah, right.
a
Yeah,
lot
you
of us
have
are
to be
like,
concerned.
we're like, oh, well, I'm not carrying drugs, I'm not doing whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's for everyone's safety, and
Yes.
there's concerns about carrying foreign materials and all this other stuff. So it was really great to hear, you know, their side of things and
Yeah.
how they're trying to accommodate
Yeah.
us. And then,
Yeah.
so
Well, yeah. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, anybody could now that, put a bag on themselves and put
yeah.
something in there. I mean, it's very well possible. Um, Couple quick questions before we move on here. What year did you get your ostomy? Colonel wants to know.
1989.
1989. All right. Elizabeth says Liz says she wishes she would have went. And she said, definitely what she loves about the major three suppliers is they're not just out for sale. They all want us to be comfortable. So I
Absolutely.
think
And
so.
I saw that there because so first of all, they all donated to the stoma clinic that was
Okay.
going on throughout the entire conference. They all donated their products for people to obviously to try, but also to help the WOCNs figure out what's going to work best for the patient that I've got in front of me.
Sure.
Um, and they also were very honest about the representatives at the booths were
Mhm.
very honest about if something that we make doesn't work for someone, let's help them find something
Yeah.
that will work, regardless of who sells it.
Right. Because interchange, even. I mean, maybe a barrier ring works for you, but the actual appliance doesn't, or the bag, they can
Yeah,
be interchanged. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's good. I like that.
yeah.
Um, So, what would you say about encouraging people to attend, in 2 years? Because I hear a lot of people say it's expensive, and I know that it costs money, obviously, but I think if we think about it going forward, like I think Demi even posted something in the group the other day. She was like, start saving now, and I
Yes.
think that's so true. Like, start putting a little money aside, and to go because it's worth it.
So, yeah, that's one of the things that I was very sensitive of when we were there because, excuse me, it was I'm gonna say uh with taxes, the hotel itself wound up being about 190 a night,
Mhm.
which is not horrible. Um, but when you multiply that by, you
Yeah.
know, typically 4 nights at least,
Hmm.
um, and then food costs
Yeah.
because there was only one meal that was provided by UOAA, and then everything else you were on your own for.
Hmm.
And then if you had like transportation or anything else that you wanted to
Yeah.
do while you were
Yeah.
down there, that's all
Yeah.
on you. So
Plus your airline ticket.
yeah, well, oh yeah, that's right. Airline ticket, Uber. So I I had a very good conversation with Cheryl Ori, who's
Hmm.
the president of UOAA. Um, and I said, Cheryl, we really have to do something about the costs
Yeah.
and figuring out what
Yeah.
we can do to try to make this more affordable. And so they've already got a hotel lined up, but there's other opportunities for us to reduce costs. So obviously, um, for example, like negotiating with the hotel in terms of what the food choices are. If we have, we had 600 people, let's say, and I don't know what the exact number was. We should be able to turn around to the hotel and say, look, we have
Yeah.
600 people times 3 nights, 4 nights.
Right.
Um, throw in breakfast every day.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
start to negotiate out like what we can do there.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think that we could probably do a better job on sponsorships.
Yeah.
So we had vendors in that obviously paid a fee to be there.
Right.
Uh, but I think that if we started now and tried to line up some sponsors for
Yeah.
27,
Yeah.
um, hey, you're going to be the breakfast sponsor, you're going to
Yeah.
be the lunch sponsor, you're going to be, whatever,
Yeah.
and get in some other companies. In particular, I don't think that we had any pharmaceutical companies that were there. There may have been one.
Yeah. They're the ones with all the money.
They're the ones with the money. So, why don't you guys come down and, advertise your biologics, advertise your drugs, whatever it is, get your name out there to the
Yeah.
ostomy community, but also help offset some of the costs
Yeah.
so that, people can afford to attend.
Yeah.
And I think that I saw Demi's post. I think she's absolutely right. 2 years. Okay, so if we've got,
Mhm.
24 months to save for this thing,
Yeah. Do
we
the
have to
math.
start putting
Yeah.
some money away now.
Yep. Yep. And two, with that UOAA, like the getting vendors and stuff, I know that the vendor spots are expensive because I've been a vendor there. But I'm also a very, very small company. The big
Yep.
companies have the money. So yeah, let's give them bigger boosts, whatever. But we should also start thinking about like non-ostomy related stuff that
Yes.
ostomates use. They should be there too,
Yes.
because there's things. There's things.
We
You know?
absolutely, yeah, and that's something that I was talking with the board about. They had a board meeting open to the public on I want to say the day before the conference on Wednesday. And one of the things that we need to do as an organization is we need to start recruiting people to serve on the board who may not have ostomies, but they have resources, they have connections,
Mm-hmm.
they have other ways to make the organization more financially viable so
Sure.
that we can then funnel that money down to the ostomates and
Right.
provide them with the opportunity to come to conferences and get educated and meet their people.
Yeah, yeah. We want everybody to meet the people, meet our people, because it's just we go through life, and how many people we won't really know somebody has an ostomy unless they, one,
Yeah.
tell us, or two, we see it, and that's far and few. So yeah, we need to get that, in connection thing going on. So yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need to do that. And that's something that it's just, I recognize that we are not if I can use the term sexy organization. Like when you talk about like Crohn's and Colitis
Yeah,
Foundation, right?
yeah,
People want to put money into that because they're funding medical research, right? That sounds amazing. I want to be part of that.
yeah.
Oh, you guys had surgery.
Mm,
Like we're not fighting for a cure,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? That's not a sexy thing to put money
Right.
towards.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to educate people on the things that we are doing that are so important.
Right.
When we had the UOAA golf outing in June, one of the things I said to the folks at dinner was when I had my ostomy, my appliances were not covered by my parents' insurance.
Mhm.
So my parents just paid out of pocket. Now my body, I mean, I was emaciated, so I was very thin and my
Yeah.
body was flat, and so I could put an appliance on and it would last for like a week or whatever. And so, the cost was minimal to my folks,
Mhm.
but as I've gotten older and I've gained weight and everything, I use appliances more frequently. Um, I'm seeing the cost.
Sure.
So, but because of the advocacy on the part of UOAA, you
Right.
know, the Medicare and Medicaid had their changes, and then the commercial policies followed suit,
Mhm.
and these things are covered.
Right.
That's just one way that they've impacted all of our lives, and we
Right.
need to get that message out and let people know, hey, this is important stuff. We need to,
Right.
like right now, we're in the middle of fighting over this
Yes.
competitive bidding
Yes.
nonsense that they're talking about.
Yes.
Um, I can't have my choices limited.
No.
I need what works for my body.
100%. Yes. And that's super. I'm glad you mentioned that because you have till August 29th. So you have like another 8 days to go to,
Yeah.
if you just Google UOAA take action,
Yes.
find it, and then you can just fill it in. And actually you'll see a quote by moi right at the very top. Yeah,
Look at that.
I'm not sure who put it together, but she used my quote um from something I wrote for the UOAA like a year ago. So I was like, oh, my name's on there. That's so cool.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
put your write something about it. So if you're
Yeah.
on Medicare, Medicaid, this is going to affect you if this
Yeah.
happens. And so we really, yeah, I can't be without what I have. It would cause me severe problems. Like really, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. And that's, Janine Gleba does an amazing job with
mhm,
that. She's our advocacy person, and I don't know where we would be without her.
yeah.
And she, was talking about going down to DC and lobbying. And she was looking for volunteers to do that. She also recommended that we, contact our local congressmen and congresswomen and all that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they will provide us with the information and the talking points that we
Yeah.
need. Um, I think it's vital in situations like that that we just go and make the story personal and
Yep.
say, we're not talking about like a generic person. Hi, it's me,
Yeah.
right
Yep.
here in front of you.
Yep.
And the pouching system that I use is very particular for my body
Mhm.
shape and size
Yep.
and my skin,
Yep.
and it's just what I need to
Yeah,
use.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I agree. I actually I took it a step further and I did a press release. Now you don't have to do
oh,
that, but I did do a press release to try to get like the Ostomy Day, a World Ostomy Day in front of them as a
yeah,
head, but then also try to sneak this in. So I sent it about a week ago, and so I haven't heard anything, but I'm gonna follow up. That's all you can
yeah.
do. You can try, you can try, you can try. And not everybody has to write a press release, but at least try to go to the UOAA and do that. And yeah, Liz has said I should do a Facebook Live and walk people through signing it or talk about it. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Liz. Facebook.
Yeah.
I got to write it down because if I don't write it down right now, I'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Facebook Live signing.
And you're not as old as I am.
No, but let me tell you something. I have a riser on my toilet seat right now. Okay, first of all, I have an ostomy. Secondly, I have a riser on my toilet seat. And third, I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma. So,
Yeah.
you know, okay. So let's just leave it at
There's
that.
a lot going on.
There's a lot. There's a
There's
lot.
a lot going on in Team Nicole right now. Okay, there's a lot.
This is why I don't date because I did not just kidding. I have a guy come over and he's like sees a riser on my toilet seat and like, what is going on here?
Well, I'm sure there are some people that find that very attractive. They're like, "Oh, look at that toilet! Wow, break out the box wine. Let's see what we can do
It's
here."
just it's still like my leg is still kind of, my knee
Yeah, of course.
especially is still so it's nice. I like the accommodation still. I could probably take it off now, but But anyway, so any last words of advice or talk you want to say or
No, you know what? It's been a while since you and I have spoken, and I want to say thank you to you for what you're doing because I know it's very bad for me, but I wake up in the morning and I go on social media, and I probably should not be doing that first thing when I wake up in the morning, but that's what I do. And invariably, Ostomy Body Positive pops up on my Facebook feed, if not the first thing, within the first like two or three things. and there's a funny question or a thought-provoking question or
Yeah.
whatever, but you are building community where none existed.
Yes, and
And so
shout out to Dwayne and Scott for helping with that too. It's not just me. And it's actually everybody else. So me, Scott, and Dwayne are just kind of a figment here, but honestly, it's everybody else like you and everybody who's watching and everybody who like comes on. That's the community, you know?
it is, but you guys are the fireplace
But
that the fire exists in. Okay? That's what
thank
you
you.
are, because without that the house burns down. So you are the fireplace. And it's just an amazing thing that you are doing. And it's one of the fastest growing groups I've ever been a part of, probably the fastest. And it's just wonderful. It's wonderful to see people laughing. The one you did the other day about the movie quotes was just absolutely hysterical. When the guy, when say the movie line
I
and guess
know.
the movie, and the guy wrote, "Welcome to Jurassic Park."
Did you? I didn't see that one. Oh man. Oh.
Um,
I didn't
but
see that one.
it's so much fun.
It is
It's
it's
really
fun.
great, and I
It is fun. It is.
and I have to tell you, you were missed. I know that you're going through your struggles, and I feel horrible, and I wish that I lived closer so that I could drop off a cup of coffee or something to you. But in 2 years, you're going to be
I
there,
am. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hopefully they will recruit you to be a speaker, and you'll get to hang out with all these people whose lives you've touched and you don't even know it.
Yes, I thank you for that. I do appreciate that. But you know what? And I thank you too because you're doing a lot and you're the raising money thing. You've got a really good I like your
Yeah.
ideas. I like what you're thinking and I think you're going to make a big difference. Just you're part of the UOA. We are on the leadership calls together at on those
Yeah.
Tuesdays and I think the future of the ostomy world is like getting so much better. There's so many
Yes.
good people just rooting and making things better, and we're evolving here. You know?
And there's young people that are coming up.
Yes.
There's people in their 20s and in their 30s
Yep.
and even as old as me and you, but it's not that older group anymore.
Yep.
It's younger people on social media normalizing having a bag,
Yep.
destigmatizing what that looks like, being
Yep.
out there about it,
Yep.
coming together. Like there's a lot going on, and our future looks a lot better than
Yeah.
it did when I had my
Yes.
surgery 36 years ago.
Yes.
So
Yes. I mean and the inner child in me feels for the inner child in you for what you went
yeah,
through. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so glad that you had this experience. And I love seeing you on. I love seeing your pictures and it's been just awesome getting to know you. So
Thank you.
we're friends for life, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
For life.
You're an Italian East Coaster, you know?
Wow, you almost got rid of your accent when you said that. You were so close to sounding like, a normal person.
I don't even know what kind of accent I have, but somebody
I
told me
well, because you've been like a gypsy, so like you've
I
adopted
am. Yeah.
all these
Right.
other accents,
I do,
But
kind of. I know. It's kind of weird.
can you say forget about it?
Forget about it.
Oh,
Is that bad?
all
Is
right,
that
we're gonna
bad?
work. We got 2 years to work on that. That's gonna be the name.
A cup of
That'll
coffee?
be the name of our talk
Yeah, right.
in 2027. By the
How
way,
does
it's gonna be in Vegas.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, it's gonna be hot. And I know my friend
Yeah.
Tori here. Tori's watching. She said she checks her stuff right there in the morning. But Tori and I were talking about it. We kind of thought like, why don't they pick cooler places like, the like
Yeah.
Minnesota?
Yeah, I think the general consensus I think is that, when it's the summertime, it's difficult to find a cooler place because people generally go there and it becomes a
Mm.
desired place and it's more expensive. But I would like to. maybe down the road at some point, be involved in helping them to pick another site
Okay.
if I can. I'd
Yeah.
like that. I'd like to do, North Midwest y kind of
Yeah.
situation,
Or even up there by y'all up there in the East Coast, Uh yeah.
Yeah, there's places. I mean, it's funny. Like the urban areas by me are too darn expensive. But
Okay.
if you were to go someplace, let's say like in upstate New York, or a South Jersey, you might be able to find something that's
Okay.
more reasonable, or a Pennsylvania kind of thing,
Right.
So
Right.
I think we
Right.
should explore those things.
Okay. Well, yeah, Minnesota's good though, just so you know. There's the
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
I have never been. I would love to go to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, come check it out.
And if we go though, we need to go to a Twins game.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
All right.
Twins games are where it's at, and I can get us good seats too, right behind the dugout.
Oh,
I only sit behind the dugout
wow.
because I
You
got
and
I got
400 of your
I
closest
got
friends.
connections.
Connection.
I got connections. Corey says yes. Or no, that was Liz says yes. Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls. That might be good.
Oh,
And
there you go.
yeah, because Tori said yeah, Vegas shouldn't be as hot as Florida either. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love that you gave us this recap. I love that we you made it known what you experienced and what other people can experience if they can go.
Yeah.
And so thank you. Thank you for gracing
No,
our
thank you.
presence.
It's good to see you, my friend. I hope that we'll get to talk again soon.
We will. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care.